So I was sitting here pondering after having a so many weeks. Right now, our agency is in AEP. All right, so I'm back. Our agency has been working tirelessly serving the community with healthcare benefits. So I meet so many people, like a lot of people every week. And being in this industry is the eye opener on so many different levels when it comes to our economic state of where we are, where um, not just that, but where our seniors are, their journey, their money journey. It just shows everything when it gets to when we're 65 plus, when we're 70, when we're 80, and the state of healthcare, the state of people receiving healthcare, how they receive healthcare. It's so much. And so I'm deciding to go live on this YouTube page to share one pivotal thing that people talk about: loopholes, tax loopholes, these loopholes. But health is the new wealth. And so, how can we receive the best health care benefits? And I would not want to be in the middle. I would either want to be on the poor end receiving healthcare benefits, or either I would want to have money to receive healthcare benefits. I would not want to depend on the private healthcare industry. Okay? The private healthcare industry is taking the government funds, and our people are we're giving it up basically. And I'm telling you, I work in insurance, so I sell products. But for me, if I was talking to my family, a grandparent or my mother, and they told me that they had a certain um critical illness, hi there, or it could be any critical illness or terminal illness or cancer or something like that, like that's when healthcare really matters. And I work with doctors. One thing about healthcare, all recommendations come from, well, what type of healthcare and what type of health insurance do they have? No one assumes that you have money. No one assumes that you can afford to pay for decent health care. Every assumption is based on the health insurance that you have or that you don't have, right? So, one thing I do know, when it comes to Medicare, um, when it comes to Medicaid, when it comes to private health care, when it comes to the money that we pay into the system by working on a job as an employee, we also pay into the same system when we're self employed. If you file taxes every year, we pay into this Medicare system. And we honestly, like, we don't know if those fundings are going to be there. But what's happening right now is there's a dominating effect going on right now with private healthcare insurance, that they're getting these contracts with the government. And that red, white, and blue card, we're giving them permission to say, you know what? I give private healthcare permission to take my government funding so they can give me a controlled healthcare plan where they've nicely put together something affordable for the doc for me to pay. I pay my little copay, I pay my prescription drug coverage, and the doctor gets paid. But on the other end, the doctors are having to fit inside of this network and they're having to negotiate their rates and they're having to deal with liability issues, right? And the best of the best doctors, they are either feel stuck, they are either leaving the healthcare industry because they cannot practice true health care. They're being forced to practice sick care. And for the person that has integrity, that's not what they really want to do. That's not the goal. That's not the desire. So it's not really benefiting them to be in a practice where they can't really practice health care. So, what does this mean to you? How can you help your loved ones? How can you help yourself? Well, first off, it starts out as being knowledgeable, right? And this really means a lot to me because I've had to experience healthcare from being a pregnant woman. I've had this experience healthcare from being a Black woman, going into the emergency room, feeling vulnerable, being by myself. Um, I've had to experience healthcare through the lens of my grandparents. So I've had the insight to see these things, right? And so this is what I've came up with from my personal experiences and also from being in the healthcare benefit industry. I'm a licensed healthcare benefit specialist, enrollment specialist. We do certifications every year on Medicare and Medicaid fraud and abuse. We have these licenses where we have to renew every year, staying updated with laws and law changes and how people are being affected, right? So when you care, I'm the person that cares. Um, you take this stuff home and you really want to share it in a way where people can take this information and make an informed decision, right? So here we are. What does Medicare really means, right? They have this thing, oh, Medicare Advantage. They're selling them on the dream. Oh, you can get this help, get that help, get this help. So what's going on is the people are giving up their government funding to private health care, right? They cannot get the funding unless the consumers sign the consent, right? What does that mean? Why are they doing that, right? They're dangling the carrots. The carrots are there. And the people that are vulnerable to these carrots are the people that did not do financial planning. Hey, that is what our agency does. And what we realize is most people do not do financial planning. That's why they're vulnerable when in their later years. That's why they're subject to lower health care, right? When I say lower, it means not having access to the best. Some of the best clinics do not take private health care insurance. Either they take cash or they want your original Medicare. They don't want to deal with private health care because they do not want to slash their prices, right? They do not want to sign agreements that says they really can't treat you how you need to be treated. All right? So, thank you. So, here we are. We've been through a healthcare pandemic, right? We've seen the worst of the worst. And here we are. If like the perfect situation to be like if you're young, you get Medicaid. You ain't got to pay for nothing. You low income, you qualify for it, right? But then you get when you grow up and you work and you can't qualify for that stuff, right? And so now you have these quadrupled expenses paying for healthcare, and you're young, you're healthy, you don't even need it, but yet you got to pay three, four, $500, right? That's one thing why I do love the Obama, what Obama started with the marketplace. That has been a saving grace for a lot of young people that is not being provided with healthcare, or they want to be entrepreneurs. And they've that though that affordable healthcare has empowered so many people to be on their own, to be an entrepreneur, and to still have access to healthcare, right? But let me bring this home because I'm really discussing the Medicare. With Medicare, there's two types of people that can qualify for Medicare. Either they're turning 65, over 65, or if they've been on disability for a minimum of 2 years, no matter their age, and now they qualify for Medicare. So, what does that mean? So, you can keep your government funding if you decide to, say, get a Medicare supplement plan. Not an advantage, but a supplement. So the thing about a supplement is you have to pay for it. And it offsets the costs that's left over from original Medicare. But the great thing about it, there is no buffers in this plan, right? What I mean by no buffers, there's no permissions, there's no referrals. You have to worry about referrals. It's widely accepted, and there is no cutting costs. There is no unpaid claims. And doctors love it, clinics love it, because the funding comes straight from the government. It's a guaranteed payment. When they have to deal with private health care, the payments are not guaranteed. So if you're wondering why you have shitty health care, it's because we have shitty private health care that are shitting on people and not paying claims, right? You get in, that's why you're receiving bills, unexpected bills, and you don't know where they're coming from. It's because somebody didn't get paid. And they're going to say, well, they didn't bill it right. They didn't do this right. All kind of excuses and reasons to not pay, which is just not right. If you're on, hey, thank you for joining on. Castillo, Hunter Signature, Malik, thank you for joining on. Appreciate you. Share this video out. This is this is the golden nugget, because I'm going to really dive into the loophole. What is the loophole when it comes to the healthcare benefit, right? All right, the loophole here, because there's literally about 10 days left to use this loophole going into 2025, right? Because in order to qualify, right, you can use Part A and B Medicare all day, no issue. But the problem is no one's prepared or do not want to cover the 20% leftover costs from having Part A and B. So they want the supplement plan. Downside is when you first are eligible for Medicare, a lot of people are still healthy, still vibrant. So they don't want to pay an extra $300, and they don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay $300 a month. So they don't get the supplement plan. So then life happens. We're living longer. Doctors, they're in business to keep you living longer, but not necessarily having that better quality of life. So prescriptions keep us living longer, right? So eventually, with a Medicare supplement plan, you have to be approved for it. You have to go through underwriting. With the Advantage plan, you do not. It don't matter your health. You can get on a plan But with the supplement plans, you have to go through underwriting. So what happened, right? So now you're older and you're on prescriptions, life happened, sickness may have happened, and this is time you really need care, right? You need the best care, but you can't get through underwriting. But with this loophole, somebody could get through underwriting if they have cancer, anything, right? And this loophole is an expiring Medicare Advantage plan. So any plan that's not carrying over to the next year, they're getting rid of the plan. It's no longer going to be effective. And you just so happen to be on this plan. So even if someone that you know may not be on that plan right now, if they enroll into that plan by 12 a.m. November 31st, then they would be in that plan coming into December, right? That's all they need to be on. They need to be on an expiring Advantage plan. Now that's going to put them in position to have guaranteed coverage when they go to apply for a supplement plan. Because anybody that's being kicked off of their Advantage plan due to the carrier discontinuing that plan, now they have the right to a guaranteed approval and getting a supplement plan. So if I had a family member, if I knew someone that really needed to get the best treatment, whether it's congestive heart failure, cancer, anything, right? And I want them to go to the best clinic, literally take the time on Monday, call around, ask doctors, what is the preferred plan that you take? They're going to tell you. They're going to tell you, right? So that's it. That is the golden nugget. If you're age 65 and over, or if you're on disability, if you have that red, white, and blue card, you want better health care, and you may have missed the point to where you can get on a supplement plan due to your health, being able to get the guaranteed insurability where you cannot get denied to get on one of those plans, that is what you can definitely do. So you got about 8 days to do your homework, do your research, call around. I always tell people, like, don't refer me to a healthcare facility or to a doctor based on my insurance. Give me the referral based on this is the best person or this is the best place where I need to be. Let me figure out my insurance issue. Don't you figure it out for me. Don't figure out my insurance. Figure out my care, right? Let me figure out the back end of how I can get this care. But people don't do that. They assume. They assume. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, drop them below. And yeah, thanks for coming on. Hit the like button if you have not already. And that's it. Good night.